Clerk, roll call.
Councilwoman Perkins Auguste, Councilman Questa,
Here.
Councilman Jackus,
Here.
Councilman Grover, Councilman Keenan,
Here.
Councilman Sedano, Councilman Ballman, Councilman Mazza,
Here.
President Gonzalez.
Here. This is a regular conference of the City Council as incorporated in the annual meetings notice of 2012 and posted on the bulletin board on December 27, 2011, and sent to the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law of New Jersey. I will now open the public speaking portion of the meeting. Is there anyone who would like to address City Council at this time? May do so. Once again, is there any taxpayer resident present that would like to address City Council at this time? May do so. Seeing none, I close the public speaking portion of the meeting. I need a motion to go into closed session. We have an item that we need to discuss. We have an attorney present with us also.
The matter we're going to go into closed session on to discuss is the supermarket at Broadway. It's in litigation right now, and as soon as practicable, the results of the closed session will be made known to the public. So we can, if there's a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make the motion, Mr. President. Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Questa, seconded by Councilman Keenan.
Okay, and then I have to read the resolution. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, period L period 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss a matter falling within the attorney-client privilege, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Councilman Questa?
Aye.
Councilman Jackus?
Aye.
Councilman Keenan?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Gonzalez. Okay. Letter dated March 14, 2012, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Office Solutions, Inc., Warren, New Jersey, for the purchase of telecommunications equipment wire for various departments for the period March 12, 2012 through March 13, 2013, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Garden State Fireworks, Millington, New Jersey, for the furnishing of fireworks for the 4th of July display for the Recreation Department in the amount of $16,900.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Avaya, Inc., Newtown, Pennsylvania, for the purchase of telecommunications wires for various departments for the period February 1, 2012 through February 1, 2013, at a cost not to exceed $80,000.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Business Administrator, requesting authorization for Alliance Transportation, LLC, to operate as an autobus pursuant to Chapter 5.16 in the Code of the City of Elizabeth, traveling to and from Dayton, New Jersey, North Brunswick, Cranberry, Edison, and South River, having 6 vans in operation, and they will be parked at 67 Remsen Avenue, New Brunswick.
Any comments? The only thing, Don, we've asked in the past to also give us the routes since they're going to be traveling to Elizabeth. We don't know where they're going to be traveling in the city.
Okay.
So if they could always add the route for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to First Priority Emergency Vehicles, Inc., Manchester, New Jersey, for 1 EMS Seaburn Decon support vehicle in the amount of $180,080.
Any comments? This is an ambulance?
Emergency.
It's an emergency vehicle. It's a replacement also, Councilman.
Yeah. Okay, put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Business Administrator. There's 3 letters. requesting a waiver of the residency requirement for emergency medical technicians, Latwana Siler, Matthew Blashevich, and Tanaya Atlantic.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 19, 2012, from the business administrator requesting that your honorable body consider a resolution calling for the restoration of energy taxes to municipalities.
Any comments?
Yeah, what I try to understand, this restoration for the energy, does it mean that the city of Elizabeth will be getting a couple $1 million from the state or from public service towards our budget?
Councilman, it's my understanding that in years past, the energy tax comprised a certain portion of our state aid,
Right.
and that was revamped to remove that
Right.
number. So this is just a request that the state reconsider and include that.
Into the,
I'm not certain of that, I can
Okay.
check.
okay.
Any other comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 20, 2012, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Shy Everbridge, Somerset, New Jersey, for a reverse 911 system, which includes software and technical support in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 20, 2012, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract funded by the New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund Authority Act 2010 Safe Streets and Neighborhoods Program to Johnston Communications, Kearney, New Jersey, for the purchase of any equipment and the design of the North Avenue and Broad Street Corridor CCTV public security system for the period March 27, 2012 to March 26, 2013 in an amount not to exceed $300,000.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 20, 2012, from Chief Financial Officer advising that additional grants may be appropriated in the 2012 state fiscal year budget by budget amendments, Chapter 159.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 20, 2012, from the Chief Financial Officer requesting that your honorable body review and discuss the city's completed 2012 state fiscal year best practices inventory at a public meeting in order to receive 100% state aid.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 12, 2012, from the Director of Planning and Community Development requesting to rescind the resolutions adopted November 9, 2011 and December 9, 2011, extending the 2010-2011 Community Development Block Grant contract with Tri-County American Red Cross, specifically due to the extension being applied to the Community Development Block Grant contract instead of the Emergency Shelter Grant contract, and authorized to extend the Emergency Shelter Grant contract with Tri-County American Red Cross for the period of June 30, 2011 to June 30, 2012.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 19, 2012, from the Director of Planning and Community Development requesting permission for the proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, a substantial amendment to the funding year 2011 Consolidated Plan for CD 37 to include applications for funding and an action plan for the Emergency Solutions Grant for an additional $51,753. Initial allocation was for $92,006, raising the total allocation to $143,759.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 19, 2012, from the Director of Planning and Community Development requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute all necessary documents to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, a consolidated plan for CD 38 fiscal year 2012 to include applications for funding and an action plan for Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $1,865,232, a decrease of $35,894. Emergency Shelter Grant in the amount of $164,633, an increase of $51,753, and Home Program in the amount of $730,502, a decrease of $594,710 from funding year 2011.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 20, 2012, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to enter into an agreement with Trinitas Regional Medical Center, Elizabeth, for the purchase of healthcare apparatus, material, and activities for the Brother Bonaventure Extended Care Center in the amount of $5,000.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 12, 2012, from the Director of Public Works, requesting permission to have liens placed against the properties listed on Schedule A attached hereto for the boarding up of said properties in the amount of $4,761.41.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 12, 2012, from the Director of Public Works, requesting permission to have liens placed against the properties listed on Schedule A attached hereto for the removal and disposal of debris from said properties in the amount of $2,434.15.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2012, from the Director of Public Works, recommending awarding a contract to J.C. Contracting, Inc., Toms River, New Jersey, for the traffic signal installation at North Broad Street and Westfield Avenue at a cost of $186,060.
Any comments? Put it on.
Letter dated March 19, 2012, from the Director of Public Works, requesting approval of change order number 1 to the contract awarded to J.C. Contracting, Inc., Toms River, New Jersey, for the traffic signal installation at West Jersey Street, at Union Street, Elizabethtown Plaza, and Broad Street at Caldwell Place at an original cost of $363,590, providing further for final quantities adjustment, which represents an increase of $4,192.65, raising the amount of the contract to $367,782.65.
Any comments?
Come on.
Put it on.
Letter dated March 8, 2012, from the Police Director recommending the establishment of a loading zone for use by Avenue Furniture, Elizabeth Avenue, to be installed on Reed Street between the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Can you put that on
Any
hold,
comments?
Mr. Chairman, please?
Okay. Councilman
Not to
Mazza,
review.
Put it on hold.
Thank you.
Okay.
Letter dated March 8, 2012, from the Police Director requesting to establish and delete handicap parking spaces. The first one in the 6th Ward, 900 2nd Avenue, are personalized.
Put this on hold because apparently this person, she was there, then she moved, now she's back again. Let me find out what's happening with the
Well,
state.
she's
There's a reserve sign
reserved
up.
already.
It has a
I
reserve
know
sign.
it's being reserved, but this person moved, we never removed it, so I know she's back again to,
Okay.
let me double check and then we'll, just put them on hold for now.
Okay, let me go down. 4th Ward, 364 Cherry Street.
Councilman's not.
Oh, he's not here.
He's not here.
So this has to go.
Cherry
This
Street.
one has to go. Oh, okay. All right, and then that's it. The deletions, 1st Ward, 18 Delaware Street. No, 4th and Manning, and I already talked to Councilman Gorman.
You put the one for Donald Thomas on?
That one's okay.
No,
Okay. Let him on.
Okay, letter dated March 12, 2012, from the Police Director requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the Cops Hiring Program grant to provide funds to hire 15 new police officers for an amount not to exceed $3,500,000.
Any comments?
Yeah, Mr. President, I have a little bit of concern about this kind of grant. Now, it's nice that we're getting 3.5 million to be used, but if you read out the small print further down toward the end, in case the city would like to do without those individual offices, whether budget cut or whatever, we actually have to retain after 3 years an additional 12 months, and then those particular officers could be laid off, if I understand correctly. Right?
I don't think that's anticipated, Councilman, but the requirement of the grant is that any officers hired using this money will be retained for a minimum of 12 months after
minimum.
the expiration, yes.
Put them on.
Well, I was just saying that,
Councilwoman?
yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I was just saying that in my experience, we have not laid off any uniform, well, we haven't had any layoffs, yeah.
Right.
So I don't think that should be a problem.
I agree, I don't anticipate that being a problem. We haven't had it like you indicated before.
I guess it's just the language of the grant. It's
Yes,
just-
Councilman.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah. But it's good to look into it, because, just because we never anticipated the things, we've been heading, and then at the end, when you calculate it and you find out, either you have to raise taxes or you have to be able to start cutting the budget. I hope the economy gets better, and I hope that, we have a better future.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Council-
President.
Yes, Councilwoman.
But a lot of men and women, they left the police force through natural attrition because of the governor's, change in the
Yeah,
pension
right,
program.
I understand.
So we have to beef up our man and woman.
Definitely,
power. Yeah.
definitely we need. Matter of fact, there should be a recommendation to allow the union, whenever we go into negotiation, to have a, probably the tour of 5 versus 2 instead of 3 versus 4 versus 3, whatever we have right now, so we could have more police and visibility in our streets and responding our people, because lately, it's not been what it was supposed to be done. So something to be negotiating with the people instead of, going in a different direction a little bit for the future.
Okay. Any other comments?
Right?
Okay.
Letter received January 27, 2012 from AWT Environmental Services, Saraville, New Jersey, requesting an encroachment permit to perform environmental remediation work within the public right-of-way of 537 Elizabeth Avenue.
Any comments?
Come on.
Put it on.
Letter dated March 12, 2012 from the Haitian Flag Day Planning Committee of New Jersey, Inc., Elizabeth, requesting permission to conduct a flag raising on Friday, May 18, 2012, in front of City Hall from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., and Haitian Flag Day cultural event, A Taste of Haiti, on Sunday, May 13, 2012, in front of City Hall from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Any comments? Put it on.
We have a memorial for Vito Anthony Mazza and one for Donald M. Ducky Peterson.
That's it?
And that's it for me.
Okay. All right, we'll do the once around. Councilwoman Perkins Augustine. You pass? Okay. Councilman Keenan.
Pass.
Pass. Councilman Mazza.
Yeah, Mr. President, I have received numerous complaints from the area of Fay Avenue and Grove Street. Apparently, a couple of years ago, I placed a two-way, or actually it's a stop sign. There were a lot of accidents, and somebody was supposed to be either do some painting, in both direction. Apparently, nothing ever happened, and no occasion there is a motorcycle officer that goes there almost on a daily basis and measuring and give the residents tickets. Were 50 feet. I mean, I know it's a state law or a state requirement. This is a very quiet dead-end section pertaining, dead end. I mean, if you're coming from Grove into Fay Avenue, but Fay Avenue himself is like one of those not too traffic streets, and to go there and actually measuring, getting off the car and measuring the corner, and you're trying to obey the law of 50. There's other area in Elizabeth that you could actually, do a better job than having people double park like tonight on Jefferson Avenue. A huge trailer truck blocked the entire section of Jefferson Avenue. That was not even a radio car or a scooter be able to help out this guy that comes within the loading zone, which is, we don't give it to them, but yeah, they put cones. Meanwhile, I had to wait almost 4 minutes before I could wait, but I could go on a double yellow line, and it's right here on Jefferson Avenue and Dickinson Street. I think the director should, a letter should be gone through the director to eliminate, try to be more friendly with the neighbors in this particular area than really go on a daily basis. And I don't know if there is some kind of a conflict or revenge going on between this officers or his girlfriend or somebody else in the area. So let's get peace in the neighborhood before something might happen. And I think this will probably what happened. And so I'll bring it up to City Council, let the director investigate and see what he wants to do with it.
Is it not painted, Councilman? Is it?
Well, it's painted a little bit because, everybody, when we put the sign, is between my line and your line, Mr. Councilman. We worked it out with the police director at the time and with the police from traffic and the neighborhood. So on one corner there's also a fire hydrant, and it's not an easy situation. But it's not an area that we have a lot of children because of the school, because of traffic. Actually, by the way, not that brings me something, I like to have the people from the traffic study, when you come down on Pearl Street and you reach Trinitas Hospital, I've been requested this about maybe 8-9 months ago, nothing happened, and you reach Trinitas Hospital, the cancer area, on Pearl you got lines, you got 3 lines coming into Broad Street and then goes into Pearl Street again, towards, when you want to go towards Elizabeth High School, by the hospital. There's no line. All of a sudden we have 3 cars coming in. One has got to make a right turn, and 2 want to squeeze in. Can we put some lines or some kind of a sign alert? I mean, we are always spending millions and millions of dollars, and it becomes very chaotic when it comes in the morning to reach the school or whatever. I did request this once before and nothing happened. I'm requesting it again. And if there is an accident, if there is somebody that will pay the consequences, shame on the traffic division for not doing their job. So,
Sure,
you know what I'm
Mr.
talking
Travis,
about.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, we take care of the upper problem, now it's at the bottom problem. And then, I think you mentioned to me, Joe, the triangle from coming down from your ward into my ward, we're going to Elizabeth Avenue. It is another situation where they put a black concrete triangle, but you're supposed to go 1 lane, go to the right into Rowe Avenue. 1 car is supposed to be going straight into South Street towards, let's say, the 2nd Ward. Another lane make a left into Rowe Avenue and then into Pearl Street. At that particular site, we need to put an additional line again. Better divide the street. I remember 6 months ago, I was on Elizabeth Avenue. Elizabeth Avenue, common sense, I think I mentioned, we have each driver makes 2 lanes, and in front of me was a radio car, and the radio car was going left and right. And I was just said to myself, either this officer must be drunk, or must be doing something, I don't know. So I was following him. Then he stopped, and then I stopped and said, "Hi, officer, what's happening?" He goes to me, "Do you see double lanes on the streets on Elizabeth Avenue?" I said, "Sir," I said, "it's not double lane." I said, "It's up to the driver as long as they make themselves way." So every day there's a double lane of traffic made by the citizen, by the driver, by using common sense. I wonder where this officer went to school for driving that he said, "You see double line." If the line is made by the individual driver, it's not causing an accident, you know what I'm saying? It's a common sense that you have to be able. Everybody makes 2 lines on Elizabeth Avenue, so do we have to paint the line again on Elizabeth Avenue? I don't think so, but it's a
Is it 1 lane?
I believe so.
It is 1 lane.
It is 1 lane,
It's
but
1 lane, but people,
right, we go
you
part of
can
that.
make 2 lanes.
That's it. Now, do you give everybody a ticket because they're doing that?
Too many people.
That's too many, thank
But
you.
if someone in front of you is driving 1 lane, you can't say you don't have common sense, move over to the left or the right so you can make 2 lanes, because the law states that it's 1 lane.
Yeah.
Just that people make 2 lanes, but it doesn't make it right.
I understand, but
So, so no one, yeah, right. So if I want to
it's
drive
not
in
a
the
win
middle.
situation. You
If
want
I
to
wanna
apply
drive
the
in the
law.
middle,
Guess what? There's a better way you could apply the law,
But that's the law.
I
though.
understand, but
Yeah.
the same thing with this area that people mentioned to you, Councilman, they mentioned to me at a Black Watch meeting that we had, and I said, the only thing I could do, give it to traffic and let traffic come up with a situation. Where it's supposed to be 2 lane, right by Benton, they made a decision. The left lane was used to always go straight and make a left, and the right lane and make right and never go straight. They made the opposite. The left no lane by Benton Career Center and St. Mary. The left lane make a left into South Broad Street. The right lane now goes straight or makes a right turn. When you come up from Peterstown up in the hill, all of a sudden you're going straight into the left lane, and then you decide, wait, there's a sign. If you're on the left, you got to turn left. So everybody's trying to shift to the right. Have that be adjusted too, because some accident's going to happen. It's good to put a sign, but yeah, did we make that sign legally? It was approved in case of an accident or something happened. Maybe they could sue the city. So those things we have to be able to look up to it, because personally I think that sign went up without even passed the ordinance, and without the proper direction being approved by city council.
I will communicate your concerns to the director of the police department as well as.
Thank you. Nelson, you know what I'm talking about, right? We also,
Yeah, I'm familiar with the.
I was happy to see the stop sign, the L2 pedestrian, which we agreed to work together. That was great. Some of those things is good, but I hope that everybody understands pedestrian have the priority. I have a thank you card from somebody to all the council about the memorial that I spent. I have no further thing to
Mr.
do.
Travisano, you have those 5 locations down, so you
I
can
do.
share it with the traffic division?
I do, Mr. President, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, Councilman Questa.
Okay.
Pass? Councilman Pass. Okay. Seeing other business, a motion to adjourn? So moved. Meeting adjourned.